Hello, YouTube. My name is Sam Tracy. If you're here, you probably know my name because I helped facilitate the release of Pinkly Smooth live at Hoagie Barmichael's, where you can find the original upload over at Flamenco4U. I recently, prior to the release, I had a sit down with Ben. Initially, it was just a conversation between us, just kind of talking things over. But I started to realize that throughout the conversation, we were getting some kind of really good sound bites and kind of nuggets of information that people more than just myself would like to know. Talks about what it was like working with Pinkley and Jimmy and stuff like that. So I've cropped down our conversation, took out all the mumbo jumbo where I just blabble and blab and blab, and cropped it down. So there's a couple of parts where the resolution goes down. I do apologise. That's me. Just it's my bad. But I do hope you enjoy. We do cover a range of topics. But yeah, it's a good listen. You might learn some things that you weren't too sure of before. Um, and I'm hoping to potentially try and do a series of these where I'm going to try and interview or at least have a sit down with people that were either close to Jimmy, Pinkly Smooth in the early days of Avenged Sevenfold. There's a couple of people that I've got lined up. So hopefully it all goes to plan and we can get a couple more people rolling and who knows where it might go. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the video and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
And right before Jimmy passed, he gave me a call. He would call me like at like 3 in the morning. My wife's like, "Who's calling? Who's calling?" And then, oh, it's Jimmy. And so I would
Of course it
talk to
is.
him, and yeah, he was yeah. And so we were just talking about, okay, so we're gonna get going pretty soon, and he'll let me know when. And then he passed away probably about a week later. I think I was in Mexico when Derek called me and let me know. Yeah.
It would have been amazing to kind of see more stuff because, as far as I know, there's 6 other songs that
Mhm.
you guys recorded that have never been released.
Let's see here. So as far as 6, I don't know if there was that many. I've got a demo of songs like I've never I wasn't recording. I didn't record on those ones. I've got that one. I gotta burn it.
Yeah,
And
so that would that have
might
been
have just the
Justin then?
same might have played on those ones.
Yeah, and then he got as well, I spoke to Justin a few years ago, and he said that he became perma-fried after that, which was apparently something he stole from Jimmy. Apparently, Jimmy used to say that all the time that he'd been perma-fried.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I think that might have been the case. Yeah. He had I known Justin for a long time, and there was like a period where something happened. I guess that was the perma fry.
Yeah,
As a perma fry, and that's Taylor Montague. He's a brilliant.
Montague, is it?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
he's one of 4 brothers, and one passed away. Micah.
Yeah, Micah, he drew the death bat, right?
Yeah, but Taylor, he and I, we went to we had the same art class in high school, and he just excelled. He just kept on going. Now he's a very good fine oil painter. He paints in the style of Edward Hopper, that kind of style.
And I can see why Jimmy wanted you to potentially take Justin's place, I would imagine, in Avenged.
Yeah,
because you had some serious fucking skill. But yeah, I can definitely see why he wanted you on there because you're just like one of those people that can probably just pick up anything and just play it, aren't you?
Brian, he wrote those. He wrote a lot of the bass lines, and he wrote them like as a guitarist, and it was interesting to be a bassist for that band. I wish I had more time to kind of refine some of the bass parts because they were starting to come along. But the playing bass in that band was like different than playing a regular like rock bass. I played it with a pick, but it was very acrobatic. It was like
Yeah.
it's hard to play like a bass player in that band. It was like you had to be a guitar player to play bass in that band, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that definitely makes sense. The way it kind of like the way it sounds, like it just sounds like you're almost kind of Billy Sheehan. You're just trying to shred it, like
Right.
just like because there's a lot of, by the sounds of it, there's lots of kind of sliding and hammering and everything. It's just kind of, it's quick, it's fast, it's tasty. It's delicious.
Yes.
It goes down smooth.
It go down smooth.
Almost pinkly smooth, actually. that was not a pun intended, but it happened.
It just works out.
So yeah, this song, I felt like it sounded like something I've heard before, but I've tried Googling lyrics and stuff like that, and I have no idea like what it might be. So hopefully you were there, so hopefully you can shed some light.
I'll do my best. How about that voice?
And it pretty much just fades out very quickly and goes straight into the body of death.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just get these figures just doing this for
Yeah, there was a lot of work that went into that whole thing. We nailed that down. It was razor sharp. There was no sloppiness. It was very.
No, you can definitely tell, like, but what, like, that kind of intro thing there, what is that? Is that just something you kind of threw together, or was that a kind of recording that preceded yourself?
That was, it might have been Jimmy's. I'm just assuming it's Jimmy's composition, and he did it as like an interlude before we start our first song. It was really nice.
So as far as you're aware, then it kind of doesn't really have a name. It's just Jimmy's song.
Just Jimmy's song, yeah. I'm not sure if I ever heard a name.
It's whatever it is, it's beautiful. Jimmy introduces the next song, which is only about 50 seconds long, and he introduces it as being about penises and touching a man's penis. And everyone's just like, woo!
I think that was the catch. So you can introduce, this is a song about.
Yeah, it's like.
And then what other response you're going to elicit? You're going to get a woo out there because they're pumped up from the last song.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, it's like whenever you go to an Avenged Sevenfold show now, you get the biggest cheer in the world when they go, right, we're going to play a song that's about love, death, necrophilia. Just like, we are a bunch of
that momentum.
Honestly, it's like, you know, it's been the same for all of eternity. You get into the really creepy shit and everyone's like, woo.
So you can say anything. This song's about Bunsen burners. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give it up.
So yeah, he pretty much just spends about 15 seconds introducing it and then goes into it, and it literally lasts like 50 seconds. It's about cocks.
The audio's kind of cutting out. I don't know if it picks up from your microphone or if you turn it up on the speakers, if it picks it up more.
It's not easy being gay these days. What? Just, I mean, is that actually a song, or was that just like a bit of improv? Or
Oh, just probably improv, yeah.
like, it's the way that he introduces it, and he's like, it's a bit provocative,
I think,
but then he sounds like he's
it,
going to throw up at one point. He's like, it's about cocks.
yeah, I think that some of our bros were up there in the crowd. So you got James up there and just trying to make James laugh. Because we were just starting out right there, there's the momentum started growing and the more people started coming and stuff. But whenever you first start out, it's like all your friends are just there in the crowd basically.
Yeah.
And you're just playing for your friends, and that's what it basically was at the very beginning period. But boy, it was just taking off really, really fast. So I could tell that after the Avenged Sevenfold did their thing, once they returned back, then we were gonna take this and really just refine it and just like cut heads. I mean,
Yeah.
it was brutal. I mean, the shows were so tight. I mean, it felt like you were a passenger inside of a hot rod car or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, the way you had it kind of refined, so it was like, this is exactly how it's going to go. Because, I mean, you literally had like, I don't know. I mean, the video itself is about 36 minutes.
Mm.
And the music starts at 1:43, and with the time in between, you probably had a 34-minute set, and maybe 33 minutes of that is performance. And you managed to, aside from the kind of the little interlude intro thing and the little penis improv, just like, you cram, apart from that, you managed to cram 6 songs into that. Like,
yeah, with jam packed.
And yeah, they sound pretty much like the recording. The only one that's slightly different, like I said, is Necromance. But I think because that's 7 minutes long, I'm pretty sure it was just kind of, maybe the tempo was just increased slightly just to fit it into the set. Because I think the actual track itself is a little over, like either exactly 7 minutes or just over 7 minutes, and this one's like 6.5. But yeah, it's just crazy because, like I said, everything's kind of been blowing up since I was posting this, and everyone's going, "Oh my god, we want this." So it's like, go over to YouTube. Go and find Ben at Flamenco4U. That's where we're going to post it. We don't know when yet, but that's where it's going to go up. So make sure you're there with your notifications. And as much as, obviously you've got the flamenco thing, I can guarantee you people are going to want you to do lessons to these songs.
That's going to happen, yeah.
It's going to happen big time. And I mean, honestly, there's actually a couple of people that have recently, in the past couple of years or so, that have actually been posting covers. But it's not like a full band cover. Like, one guy has done, I think, 2 songs just on bass. One guy, I think, did McFly on drums. There's a guy who does a couple of singing, just does vocals. So there's people trying to cover them, but I think you can go on there and be the judge of that and be like,
wow. How about that? Yeah. I would imagine this like 20 years later, almost. Yeah, 20 years later, and this band from Huntington Beach. I mean, we were playing. You always knew that you were playing metal. It sounded off the wall. It sounded like Mr. Bungle, but you always knew that we were metal. We were like full on metal. Even though we got piano, we're doing acrobatic stuff, doing time signatures that were kind of out of the metal genre.
Yeah.
It was metal. It was totally metal. And I think people, they saw like, wow, they're doing something different with metal.
Yeah.
Like I hear Meshuggah, they're doing something different with metal and just going with it. And then we were doing something different with metal. We were going with it, and we were going like fast. We didn't. Jimmy and Brian, they didn't care if we did something that was unorthodox. They never were concerned about that, as you know. They just want to go out there and see what you can do. And I felt like always nervous for Brian at the live shows, because when Derek would hit the hi-hat and count it off, I'm like, dude, that's fast. I don't want to be the guitarist in this band playing at that time signature.
First time I heard about Pinkly was about a year after the first time I heard of N7fold was October 2004, and I hated it. I'm not gonna lie. The first song I ever heard was Lips of Deceit. And at the time I was still listening to like Zeppelin and stuff like that. There was nothing that was like that I had ever listened to. So when I heard that, I was like, I can't do this. And then a year later, I heard Beast in the Harlot, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good. And then I listened to that album, and then went back, and then went back. And then it was about a year later that I heard about Pinkly, and I managed to get a hold of one of the red copies of the CD. And it came in like a paper sleeve with a Buckton barcode on the back of it. So like, yeah, that was like, I was absolutely thrilled with that. But then it's like, I've had these 6 songs for what, 15 years, and that's been it. I've never had anything, and no new material, no video. And then when the tribute video came out, you know, the tribute video was emotional, but everyone suddenly went, there's actually footage of them playing live. And then people wanted to find that. Like, so I assume that footage is probably in the hands of like Jimmy's family or something like that. You know, that's why it ended up on the video. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how long you'd kind of, because when was it roughly that you got together? Because there's a couple of people in the crowd, which I imagine are the Montagues, who keep shouting like the titles of the songs to play next. You know, at one point they just start shouting vampires, you know, like vampires, Dracula, which is obviously Nosferatu, but yeah. So had you been quite established at this point already, or?
Just basically, yeah, just starting out, and the CDs that were getting handed out, just Jimmy and Brian, I guess Jimmy was just primarily handing them out, and then I was burning some, trying to get those out as much as I could too. And so it was just a local thing. Like I said, we never went to LA, we never toured any place, we never spread out, but it would have had good reception, especially at that time, because there was other bands that were doing weird things, kind of like us, like Stratosphere was a band from Santa Cruz. And they would dabble in metal, but they would do all kinds of stuff, like a bungle like klezmer music. They're not together anymore, but they would travel back and forth between LA, and they would go back and forth towards like San Francisco. Like every month they'd come see them. And I thought, wow, this is a really good time for a group like Pinkly, because they're doing something that's like probably more accessible than what they were doing. And so I think we would have more draw, I imagine so. But yeah, we were just in the baby stages, in the baby stages.
Yeah, so
but I knew that the energy on stage was so refined, and it was so strong, and it was so like hyper warp speed that we were going to have no problem in gaining a crowd. And as you can see, 20 years later, like 6 shows or less or whatever like that, 6 songs, and it created a lot of
there's been a huge following, like for the longest time. Just kind of looking at the stage for this, it does actually look like it's the same venue,
yeah.
But this, like, he moves at one point, as you can see there's a death bat on the kick drum.
Okay, so I guess Jimmy must have loaned Derek that drum set. Maybe Derek was using Jimmy's drum set, because that drum set right there is not Derek. That's not Derek's drum set.
No.
Derek's always had the tiger pattern in there. And in this video that we just uploaded, what is that on the drum head there?
That's the death bat. That.
Okay, so maybe it's the same drum set, but maybe it's got the head. So maybe this video in the tribute video is a later video, maybe, I'm guessing. And then maybe this is a first one that you're seeing in the video.
Yeah, because you all are literally like wearing the exact same outfits, same instruments. It's just that death bat and the colours are obviously a little bit different, but that's 100%. It's the same venue, so
Yeah, no doubt.
you think that's probably Hogues then, not Coos.
Yeah. So, and the video it says Coos because that's where Ballistico played, and I think that same night, Pinkly played that same night, and I don't know why it's not in the video.
You played 2 gigs in the same night.
Yeah, we played Ballistico first, I think, and then Pinkly last. Yeah.
Well, I'd say, is there any chance that these are from the same night, but the date stamp's 2 weeks apart? So
could be.
Yeah, he pretty much he plays that song about being gay, and then he just growls for like 20 seconds, just screaming down the microphone. Then Pixel and Nasal, and then he gets told you only have 10 minutes, and he begins to complain ever so slightly. It's like 10 fucking minutes.
They're always keeping time at those venues.
I mean, what are those gloves that he's got on? Like, they're just, are they gardening gloves?
Those ones, they're long. I don't remember what material they were.
Just insane.
Something from a costume store. I think hopefully he was cutting out the fingers so he could actually touch the keys and get the sensory input from them.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense, because some of the stuff he's playing, it's like, I'm surprised wearing those he can only hit one key at a time, and it's not just like
He pulled it off.
So yeah, then he just kind of complains about that. I love the intro to that. Oh yeah, you can actually see the tips of the fingers are missing there. The light's actually pretty good on his hands. The Ballistico one is literally like, it's like 30 seconds pretty much, and it's straight in. And there's like a couple of people setting up microphones at the start, and then you literally just walk in and go, okay, so we're going to play this kind of song now. And then at one point you're just like, that's the end of that song. Next. It's like,
I remember that night one of my tubes in my amp blew up, and so it was making this terrible screechy sound.
Oh yeah, okay. I thought it was just like part of the video. There is like a at the beginning.
Yeah, I had to kick it and then would stop doing it.
The tubes are expensive to replace as well.
They are, yeah. Well, sorry for the guy who stole it. Some meth head went out and stole it a couple of years ago. They went inside of my garage, they wedged it open, and then they got between the two cars. They must have been thin. That's why I think they're meth head. So I came in there, they got the Marshall stack, they got the Marshall amp, got all my equipment, and then they took it out on my dolly. So they took the dolly too. So la. But they've got an amp they need to do some tube work and some fine adjustment.
Did you have it insured?
No, I had it for years, so I just kept.
I was going to say he's stolen a broken amp off you, and you get a brand new one. Oh yeah, on the intro when you're kind of just in the parking lot, like, oh, I need a spotlight, natural or artificial. You mentioned that you're going to start the set with Body of Death, but then you talk about ending the song. Ending the set and say that it's going to be a song called Ghosts and Goblins or whatever it's called, which is pretty much like what you say. You go, we're playing Ghosts and Goblins or whatever it's called. This bit, I think.
Must have had the set list there.
I don't know what you've been smoking.
I don't know that was a real song, because I probably was just making that up because a lot of the songs, they sounded like they had to do with the ghost.
Yeah.
I just figured that.
Yeah, because the last song that you do play for the actual set is something I've never heard before. And Jimmy introduces it by saying, "Let's play some fucking metal." So from about here.
That was a fun song to play. I love playing that song. Hard not to rush that song.
That mosh pit.
Yeah, sausage fest.
It looks like it's just 4 people having a fight.
The Montague Bros. Taylor would go into our mosh pits like nude sometimes and belly flop.
There was a proper, like, in the back there is just a proper like on that bass. Like you can definitely see you. Unless you've got like Billy Sheehan fingers, you definitely need to pick to play that stuff.
Yeah, too much movement to be using the fingers, I think. And I wanted that rumbling sound with the bass cap. I want a nice consistent.
But does this last song sound familiar at all, or is this just kind of a let's just play some gnarly shit?
If you could turn it up just a little bit, I can't quite hear it.
Yeah, basically it just kind of gets introduced as let's play some fucking metal, and then it's like doo 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 doo. But there's kind of, I don't know. I mean, it's probably not. There's kind of like a Slipknot vibe. I can't remember what song it is though.
This is the one that goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that was drop. I think that was drop D. I think it was called drop D.
The song was called Drop D.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. And was that something kind of you guys wrote together, or was that like something before you?
I think that was written. I think that was written by Jimmy and Brian. I think. I don't know if I ever heard it. Like they did that. Some of the recordings that you heard on the album that sounded very high quality because they were recorded in a studio, and I guess at the time, Warner Brothers may or may not have had some interest in it or something to do with that. But
Who is that? Sorry.
Warner Brothers, the label.
Oh yeah.
And I think that they might have recorded that drop D in that studio session, but I can't remember for sure. But that was like one of my favorite songs to play. That one, drop D.
Cool.
We didn't record one, and we didn't put it on that album. I don't believe so, unless there was another demo. Like again, I'll have to listen to that demo and see if it's on there.
Yeah,
it was kick-ass.
Yeah, because obviously on the CD itself, it says that like 3 of the tracks were like mixed and engineered by Ron, who I believe obviously is Derek's dad, but did he used to play for Dick Dale as well?
Yeah, Ron Egbert, he played bass for Dick Dale for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, so and the rest were done by Nick. I don't know how to pronounce his name. DiVigilio.
That was done at a different studio earlier on, before we even formed. They had those recorded, and I don't know who played bass on those ones. Maybe it was Justin, or maybe it was just Brian playing the bass. And so we learned those songs. We learned some other songs that weren't on that recording, and then we recorded those at Derek's dad's house at his studio there, and then he mixed and engineered that there at that studio in Huntington Beach.
So do you have any idea who might have the masters or where they might be?
The masters, I don't know. I was just given I could tell it was an MP3, it wasn't a master copy, because I could hear the jingling of the MP3.
Yeah.
But maybe Brian Hayner has the masters. Possibly.
No, well, that's it. In an interview a couple of years ago with Rick Beato, January 2019, he said on there, like, you know, I don't know where they are. Apparently they went missing, and then there's been like a video on YouTube where Joe Sullivan talks about it, and he says that apparently there was an issue with like actually paying the studio for the recordings, and apparently the studio decided to keep hold of them. But I don't know, because I imagine most of that would have been with either Ron, who I don't imagine would have withheld the recordings from his child, or with Nick.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, yeah, maybe, I don't know. I'd say probably for some of the tracks, maybe Ron has them, but I've never been able to find a way of getting hold of him because, as far as I know, he's not on social media or anything. So
Yeah, Ron, if he has the masters, they're probably long gone because they're probably on some old computer that he doesn't have anymore or something. I imagine. I don't know. Who knows? Yeah.
heartbreaking.
But the studio ones, yeah, that sounds, what Jimmy's dad said is probably pretty accurate. Sounds like a studio-ish thing.
We'll play some metal. Metal. Heavy metal. It's real heavy. It's real heavy. Like my cock. Heavy like my heavy metal. That's our song takes.
The audio's really good. Yeah. Oh, brutal.
Yeah, just the way Derek's hitting that snare in the background and that hi-hat, just like,
yeah, and
Jimmy,
like
he's got Tourette's.
Yeah, the thing was like with this band is like such of an important part of it was the percussion, and Jimmy did all the percussion on the album. He's a drummer, and this band was meant for him to play drums, but he was intent on singing. He needed to sing because the band needed him to sing and needed to have that him singing vocals. It called for his voice.
Yeah.
And he couldn't just stay singing. He needed to do something too. So he had the keys, because that was an integral part of the band sound too, is the keys.
Yeah.
But he can't be in two places at once. He can't be like singing like Phil Collins and doing that, because it's just not going to work. He's got to be in the front. He's got to do the keys. So he was really intent on making sure that Derek played as closely to the tracks as possible, because Derek's a different kind of drummer, but Derek was open to playing like Jimmy, and Jimmy trained him to play certain ways. It was very firm that he carried those rhythms out in a certain way, and he did a great job.
Yeah, definitely. Because like I said, it pretty much sounds just like the recording. And from what you're saying, then half the recordings had Brian playing bass. You're stood here playing bass on this. Justin, like pretty much the lineup was not what's on the record. Like,
right, yeah. But we had to keep the quality the same, and so Brian was intent on showing me certain ways to play it a certain way, and so we basically they had to expand out their sound, and they wanted to make sure that it sounded as close to it as possible. And so I appreciated that. So I wanted to make sure that I could give good attention to the songs so that they sound the same way they do on the album, and the way that they intended them to sound, because I appreciated the sound that they were going for.
At 34 minutes and 1 second, it cuts off and then it starts recording again. And you go straight back into Necromance Theatre.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, we might have.
And you play about 2 minutes of that, and then just kind of stop playing. And then Jimmy says, we can't, I think he says, we've got 30 minutes and we can't do that to our friends in Astro Projects, who are up next. If you want to buy a CD, it's got 5 songs, and then it cuts off. So yeah, Astro Project was apparently following you.
Okay, so it cuts up there.
But it sounds slightly different this time, like someone's changed the tone or the fuzz or something like that. And
yeah, you know how some albums, the group will play a song on the album in the very beginning, and then they'll do an outro with the same kind of a theme, kind of like a movie will have the same theme throughout the song. So I think it was that they were kind of going for a.
Yeah, I spoke to Cam Rackham a few years ago when he was in London, and he said that, I don't know how true it is, but he said at one of the shows he went to for a Pinkly show, he pretty much just said that Jimmy you played like a set, and then Jimmy would be like, okay, let's do it again, but then you would play the exact same song again, but then you'd play it in a kind of different genre. So you'd play it in this kind of metal version, and then you'd play it in like what apparently Cam called pirate metal, and you'd just play the same song for 20 minutes, but kind of make it sound different each time. Is that? I don't know if that's something that you recall.
You said that we did that during a live show?
He said that Jimmy did it at least once when he'd been to see them. And he said like people are like throwing shit at him, and he's just like, "Fuck you!"
Yeah, I can see that happening. Sure, kind of an Andy Kaufman-ish kind of thing. Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I know one story he told me was apparently while they were auditioning bassists for Avenged Sevenfold in Matt's garage, he said they basically just used to come in, and Jimmy just like hated everybody that would come in. He just like, no talent, no talent. So for somebody to find somebody that he liked was like the biggest struggle. And apparently like people had come in, play bass, and then the garage door would open and they'd like crawl out because he was just throwing sticks at them. So apparently when the door opens, all these drumsticks would just roll out into the street. So I'd hate to have auditioned at that point. But yeah, I mean, it's a shame you never like you know, you never got a stint, because you'd have definitely worked. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Johnny, but I think your compatibility with Jimmy definitely would have taken it to a different level for sure.
Oh, I love playing with Jimmy. I love being by his side, listening to the way he played. It was just like an explosion. It was like rapid fire, and it's like so like in the pocket. And so I just love being a part of that kind of being involved with other musicians that are not only talented, but they're just like they're always on, you know, when they're in the moment. And that's the way that Jimmy and Brian they are with their music. They could be doing different projects, but when they're up on stage, they're prepared and they're totally committed to the beat, totally committed to the music, whatever they're doing, totally committed.
Anything that you think, oh, that'd be good for Smooth, like.
Yeah, I thought I did think about that. I thought like, well, what if I just kind of in the meantime write some ideas, and then so when the time arises, just bring it to Jimmy. But I thought I would just kind of just wait. I would just wait until he wanted to start cooking, basically, and then just kind of feed off of that, because I'm more like fuel than I am flame. So I just kind of really rely on people's creativity, and then just kind of build off of that. See, whenever I'm trying to write in somebody else's style, so I can't really start from my way of writing and my way of imagining music and then apply it to them. I just needed to wait for their input. So no matter how big or little it was, like for instance, whatever song it was, they go. So I thought, in this part, let's add this on the recording. There's little things like that. I would never think of something that on my own. I would need to hear the music, hear the guitars, to think of something that could contrast that heaviness, high voice kind of thing.
Yeah, so you weren't essentially the fuel that started the car, but you were the nitrous that got it over the finish line.
Yeah,
like that was a lot of people didn't even know your name was Ben. Everybody thought Buck Silverspur was your real name for a very long time. Yeah, because like anywhere you kind of, if you Google like Pinkly Smooth, it's rare that it actually comes up with like Ben Stubbs. It says Buck Silver, also known as El Diablo. Like that's your real name and that's your stage name. It's like, so a lot of people didn't know for quite some time. So when you go, oh yeah, go and check out Ben, they're like, who's Ben?
When I say that, I think those people should be working for like background check companies. They do good work.
Definitely. Is it Maria or Maria?
Maria, yeah. My wife, she says there's a man named Sam Tracy, and he's trying to reach Derek. Can't reach Derek. I'm like, well, I can understand that. Derek and I, we text each other, and like there maybe like 6 months will go by between texts between the two of us. We're just that way. That's the kind of way we communicate. That's the way I communicate. So I can't knock him.
But yeah, I never actually looked like really far back and saw that you'd actually like some of your first ever uploads were actually like Ballistico shows. So if I'd have done that, I'd have known it was you, but I never did.
Yeah, I had a friend who uploaded those, like he gave me a digital version of them, and so that's why I basically had that channel, was just to put those on there, and that's pretty much it. And then I just kept the same channel for years and years and just put stuff on there, whatever it was. I had to look back and see what's on there, just to share videos with friends.
Yeah, I think on your Facebook as well. But I think there's actually a video of you like that you uploaded when you're quite young by the looks of it. And I think in the caption you've put like just like a birthday jam or something with Jimmy and Brian or something like that.
Yeah, that was at Derek's house. It was a jam session.
So, things like that. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I just want people to finally be able to see this, because they've been wanting to see it. And I mean, you've been wanting to sing it. I've been wanting to see it for a long time. And so we all have that in common, that we can share this passion for the music. And this is your friend did a great job on making the video sound and look as good as possible. So thanks for facilitating that.
Not at all, man. Honestly, it's like a couple of people have been saying to me like, thank you. It's like, don't thank me. Like, I'm literally just kind of like the middle guy, like
You had to go fishing, didn't you? You had to go fishing.
Big time. Big time. Yeah, like I might be catching it, but I'm not the one I'm not eating it to myself, I'm like Jesus feeding the 5,000. I have one tape and I'm turning it into millions.
Yeah.
And it's Easter weekend. But yeah, so I was thinking we'll give it a couple of weeks before you put the actual video up. So I don't know if you just want to pick a date for that that you think I'll do on that day.
Yeah. So what I want to do is I want to get it out there, and I want to have, what I usually do is if I do a premiere, I actually produce a video, I upload it to YouTube, and it's completely private until the premiere date. So so everything's like set in line. So I don't commit to anything until I've completely recorded something and produced it, and it's in the queue ready to go on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I'll commit to a date once I do.
So I think if I give one clip to one person, they'll share it, everybody repost it, and then we give a clip to another person a few days later, and they'll, so it'll really kind of build something. And then eventually you just kind of, like you say, you do the premiere and everybody gets that notification that you've just uploaded a new video, it's gone live, so yeah, obviously once you have a date, we can kind of start slapping that everywhere and be like, this is when it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't want to wait too long because I don't know, it could leak before then. Who knows? You've got
at the moment there's only me and you that have got a copy, but
and then you'll be sending a DVD over to
Joe, and I don't think Joe is going to put it online. I've wrote him a letter just saying, this, that, and the other. Before we kind of publish it to the world, I thought I would send you a copy so you can have one to watch, before you just see it online. And yeah, they're gonna sue Brian's wife, Brian Senior's wife. She'll probably get in contact with Joe as well and probably tell him about it before it actually arrives. So yeah, I doubt they'll be posting it online. So there'll only be 4 copies out there: the one that you have, the one that I have, and those 2. And I don't think the postman's going to know what's in there, so I don't think he'll be stealing it anytime soon.
That was a whole plan for him to join the U.S. Postal Service to get his hands on that.
Now they know what exists. They're watching the house like hawks.
I know that years ago, Warner Brothers, they had some kind of, I don't know if they had ownership over the songs or the material. So that might be something that you just want to run by Warner to see if they still hold that on it. I don't know if they do.
Yeah.
At one time they were, as far as I understood. So I don't know if it still holds if they have any kind of copyright over it right now. So you just want to run that by them to see if they still have that.
Yeah, that makes
Otherwise,
sense.
Yeah, I'd be happy.
Yeah, because I remember you saying you got like a letter saying stop producing this CD.
Yeah, stop producing the CD, and then I can't remember if that was if that was before Jimmy passed away or after. I just can't remember because I was talking to him about it. I'm like, so where do you want to go with the printing of the CDs? Like printing the CDs, and I can't remember if it was before then or after then. It's kind of hard to remember, but I know around sometime around that time, if it was regarding online distribution of it, and I think either Warner or like a subsidiary of them sent an email to the company that I guess was probably CD Baby, letting them know to cease and desist. I don't know if they use that language, but just to basically stop printing it. And so, which is interesting because I have those titles underneath my publishing company. I don't know if they checked it. It's under ASCAP. I don't know if they checked that, or who knows. I'm not an expert on the music biz.
What was the Shotgun Brothers about? Apparently that was a writing name between Jimmy and Brian.
That was, yeah.
Like, did they do all the writing? Because it pretty much just says written and recorded by the Shotgun Brothers. Nobody else really gets writing credit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
If anything was added onto it, like I said, that was just salt and pepper added to the track, basically.
Do we know where the Shotgun Brothers thing came from?
No, I don't know.
No.
But it was them. It's kind of like as the apostles. Two of them would be the Sons of Thunder. They're like the Shotgun Brothers.
Yeah. I think the only other question was somebody asked was just kind of, what's your favorite memory of Jimmy?
Oh boy.
Yeah, I think that's one you would probably get asked a lot when that if we do a Q&A kind of thing.
Probably aside from playing with him and listening to him play drums, I enjoyed a lot just talking to him when we'd be sitting in his old beat up car at the time, listening to something new he'd be playing for me. It could range from Meshuggah to Richard Marx.
Really?
That was the breadth and depth of his musical taste.
We'll see if Joe can get us in touch with Brian and get Brian involved. That would seriously get us some fucking traction.
That'd be a lot of fun.
But yeah,
It'd be good to see Brian.
Cool. Well, thank you very much. I know it's about lunchtime there, so enjoy your day. And yeah, just let me know where you're at, and we'll figure out where to go from there.
Yep, we'll keep in touch about this, close touch, so you'll know where I'm at.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, cool. Again, thank you for everything. Thank you for all your time, and I'm sure we will speak again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Sam.
No, thank you.
I'll see you in a little bit.
And you, thanks. Bye-bye.